Soon we will be receiving our next major update in War Thunder, known as Ninth Wave. And inside this update we will be receiving 2 new aircrafts. Today we will be discussing what to expect from these aircrafts. As always, everything is timestamped below. Before I hop into this, everything I say now is subject to change in the upcoming dev server and update. I will also be using a lot of IRL information that I could find, meaning it could be incorrect. If you find that I have something wrong, feel free to mention it in the comments. I also won't be going deep into the new missiles in this video. I have already done that in my most recent video, which you can find in my description. Anyways, let's get right into it. Alright, let's kick things off with the F-16C Block 52. We're starting with this one since it's a more straightforward topic. The Block 52 is essentially a modernized version of the Block 50 that's already in game. It's set to be part of the new Rank 9 category in the 9th Wave update, which will feature the first Rank 9 aircraft added to the American tree. This is a big deal as we haven't seen a new F-16 added to the American tree in quite some time. So what are the key upgrades? The Block 52 is bringing a few significant improvements to the table. First and foremost is the radar. We're getting the AN APG-83 ASA radar, which is an extreme upgrade over the previous mechanically scanned arrays. This new system will allow the F-16 to more reliably track targets and engage them from much further distances, potentially allowing it to strike from ranges that the F-16 couldn't strike from before with the AMRAAMs. The next major upgrade is the engine. Now, I need to address some community debate here. While it's often considered a step up, there's some conflicting information out there. Some sources suggest the Block 52s might actually have a slightly weaker engine compared to the Block 50, with a community push for Gaijin to consider adding the B50 POBIT variant instead. We'll have to see how Gaijin implements this, but the general expectation is an improvement in thrust, particularly an additional 1,000 kilograms of force and dry thrust, which should give it a slight bump in dogfighting capability. Beyond that, we're looking at an expanded arsenal of air-to-surface munitions and compatibility with newer missiles like the AIM-120 Delta. I won't be diving deep into the missiles in this video, as I already have a dedicated video on them linked in the top right corner, so be sure to check that out after this one. Now for the elephant in the room, its loadout and ARB. While the real F-16 is 100% capable of carrying dual missile racks, it seems Gaijin isn't interested in adding this feature right now. This means the Block 52 will likely still be limited to about 6 missiles, which could be a significant handicap in a top-tier environment filled with all the high-capacity threats within the current meta. So, to wrap this up, the F-16 Block 52 is a solid but not revolutionary upgrade. It's a better Viper, thanks mainly to the ASA radar and expanded payload options. However, its potential will be heavily dictated by its final engine performance and whether Gaijin addresses the missile loadout limitations. I wouldn't expect anything game-changing, but it should be a very competitive aircraft within the new Rank 9 meta. I'll share my final thoughts on its overall performance at the end of the video. Now we move on to the main event of this update for China, the J-15T. This aircraft isn't just another flanker, it's a fascinating story of adaptation, domestic innovation, and the culmination of decades of Chinese aerospace development. To understand why this might be the best flanker we'll see in War Thunder, we need to look at its origins. The J-15's story begins with the Soviet Union. In the 1990s, China acquired a T-10K3 prototype, which was the Soviet demonstrator aircraft for their Su-33 carrier-based fighter. This was essentially a navalized Su-27. From this single airframe, Chinese engineers at Shenyang Aircraft Corporation began the monumental task of reverse engineering and developing their own carrier-capable fighter. This wasn't just a simple copy of the Su-33, however. It was a process of domestication, where China adapted the design to its own manufacturing standards, avionics, and weapon systems. The foundation laid by refining the original Su-27 design with modern CAD techniques was crucial for this project and set stage for all future Chinese flanker derivatives. The initial J-15s were ski-jump launch aircraft, similar in concept to the Russian Su-33. However, this came with a significant limitation, which was they couldn't use catapults. These early J-15s couldn't launch at a full fuel load or full complement of weapons, meaning their true performance potential was shackled. This is where the J-15T changes everything. The T stands for Catapult Launch Capable, specifically designed for China's new Kato equipped aircraft carriers. This single modification unlocks the aircraft's full potential. It can now take off with maximum fuel and a full weapon load, finally allowing it to perform as it was truly designed to. In War Thunder, the J-15T will be armed with the new PL-12A missiles. This is a critical point as the PL-12A is expected to perform on par with top-tier Western and Russian BV rams, like the AIM-120C5, the AIM-120 Delta, and the R-77-1, giving the J-15T a formidable long-range punch. So why will this be the best flanker in game in my opinion? It's a combination of factors. The J-15T inherits the massive airframe of the flanker family, giving it more internal fuel and a longer range than most other jets. It is also equipped with a powerful ASA radar, which should grant it superior detection and tracking capabilities compared to most of the flankers we have in game. Most importantly, it represents the pinnacle of a thesis-like evolution of the flanker in Chinese service. Just as the J-11B became a lighter, more maneuverable, and more advanced version of the Su-27, the J-15T takes that naval philosophy to an extreme, finally unshackled from the performance constraints of ski jump launches. With the J-15T also having access to canards for the better AOA, it is also a lighter aircraft compared to the Su-30SM-2. While it is lacking the thrust vectoring that the Su-30SM-2, it is lighter by almost 2 tons. The J-15T boasts a slightly lighter weight of 17.5 tons on an empty load, compared to the SM-2's 19 tons on a light load. It is also receiving the WS-10 engines, which are closely matched in overall thrust, but the fact that the J-15T is lighter may give it an edge. My honest opinions on these aircrafts, keep in mind this is all recorded pre-dev server, so I'm going off what I know about the War Thunder Air RB beta. The F-16C is likely to suffer, and I mean that out of a place of love. I love the F-16s, but if the aircraft doesn't receive dual missile racks or something, it's going to have a much harder time compared to everything else it will be facing at its BR. That's not to say it won't be able to perform at all. I love flying the F-16C we have in game despite its lacking armament because I see it as a challenge, and you can still do well in it, but compared to things like the Eurofighter or Rafale, it's going to struggle a lot more than I think a lot of people realize. Either way, I'm glad to finally see a new S-16 in the American line. It only took years for it to come. For the J-15, I think it's going to perform very well, at least on par if not better than the Su-30s we have in game. Yes, it lacks thrust vectoring, however it makes up with that with its engines and its slightly lighter weight that we discussed earlier. So, I do suspect that this will be one of the best dogfighting flankers to hit War Thunder if you're someone who likes dogfighting and custom battles and stuff like that. If you made it this far and enjoyed the video, consider hitting that like and sub button. It's free and it means a lot to me. Also, consider joining the Discord below, which will be having some major renovations done soon to make it more casual for everybody instead of just being War Thunder based 24/7. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.